Welcome back to Jedi Enclave, where we talk about Star Wars news, trivia, video games, lore, characters, spin-off pornos, everything you can possibly think of about Star Wars. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris, and I can say that because we're in the same room.
That's true.
And not
right.
tortured by latency anymore.
Yeah, I know. That is... so COVID-19 has been in our respective counties have been like the number of cases have been down a whole bunch. So
it's been getting better.
Yeah. So it's nice to be in the same room because I feel like no one has a good chemistry over Zoom. No. Nobody does. It's just a thing. Which, by the way, we were watching that thing earlier on Stephen Colbert about the judge that or the lawyer with the cat
who got the cat filter turned on.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious. I didn't know there were filters like that because we could have been cats the whole time, and that would have been really fucking funny. So, like I said,
surely somebody has made a Baby Yoda filter.
We will. If not, then,
if they haven't, then they need to get on.
Yeah, the entire world is condemned if that has not happened yet. So yeah, we're talking about some Star Wars stuff today. We've got some news at the top here, and then we got Star Wars story time a little bit later. We're gonna be talking about Vader number 7, Into the Fire, and then our world famous "That's Not How the Force Works" segment.
It's not actually world famous.
It's not famous. That's a lie. And then here at the end of the show today, we'll be reading comments and such from you, the listener. We love you.
Yeah.
As long as they're comments that don't annoy me.
So please tell us everything. Tell us, well, not everything. Tell us what you think of what we're talking about.
No, tell us everything.
Yeah. Tell us everything.
Your bank account.
Tell us that we're wrong. Tell us that we're right.
Yeah.
Tell us that we're
soy boys. We're faggy soy boys. Mm-hmm. I get that sometimes.
We're Disney shills.
Yeah, which I'll say this every time this comes up. If Disney wants to pay us to be shills, I'll do it.
Absolutely.
For less money than they would assume it would cost. All right, so. Oh, also, I forgot. Right after this, we're going to be doing our Battlefront stream.
Video games.
Yeah, which we have not been able to do together in a long time. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that.
We're going to pass the controller back and forth, and I'm going to be really bad at it.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Make sure also that you share the show. Make sure you like the page if you haven't. If you're here from the Star Wars Hub, which, by the way, this is made possible in part by our friend Connor over at the Star Wars Hub, who very graciously hosts all of our shit, like all the shit that we talk about, and that no one really, tens of you listen to. So
very cool guy.
Yeah, he is really cool. So if you are listening from Star Wars Hub, make sure you head over to Jedi Enclave on Facebook, like it's there, and then.
And if you're listening through Jedi Enclave, go to Star Wars Hub and follow
definitely.
their shit.
Yes,
they're cool.
Yes, and then go follow Star Wars Veritas too, because that's another one of our partners.
All right, that's enough plugging. Let's get to it.
Yeah. So our news today is going to be a mix of yay, happy, and oh god, politics.
Let's get the politics out of the way
first. Okay, we're gonna do that first. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, we're not. We're gonna do the one like super happy thing because it's not gonna take a bunch of time. John Williams turned 89 this last week.
Yay!
And if you don't know who John Williams is, first of all, who the fuck are you?
What rock have you been living under?
He's written the soundtrack to your childhood, and it doesn't matter which movie you really like. He's probably written a theme for one of the movies that you will remember.
Every single Star Wars, Jurassic Park, E.T. I'm pretty sure.
Oh hell yeah, he wrote the fuck out of E.T.
Hook, was that him?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did Hook. Indiana Jones.
He has done so much good shit.
Yep. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The music for the fucking Olympics.
Oh yeah,
that's John Williams.
The Atlanta Olympics, I think.
All the Olympics.
All of them.
The what is that? Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da.
Oh yeah.
He wrote that. That's his original music. Schindler's List. That movie where they all die.
The violin solo that everyone plays.
Yeah, that famed violinist Itzhak Perlman recorded. Superman.
Yep.
Like the old school Christopher Reeves Superman. And a bunch of other shit. He wrote the pilot music for Gilligan's Island.
Oh God, really?
He got his start in music composition. He was a studio pianist. He showed up to a gig for a show. Was just going to play piano because he's a professional pianist. The composer didn't show up with his music, and John Williams said, "Here, I got something. Let's play this."
Let's just write it on the spot. Let's go.
That's how his film music career started, and it's been balls to the wall, nonstop, crazy awesome since.
Except it might have stopped because he wrote the stuff for episode 9
Rise
and
of
then kind of
Skywalker.
stopped.
Yeah, I think he's kind of officially retired now. But he's been writing music for over 50 years, which is insane.
He's 89 years old, and he looks really good for 89.
Yeah. So happy belated birthday to John Williams. Also, I would be remiss not to mention that John Williams is the whole reason I became a musician in the first place. And I literally founded a symphony orchestra so that I could play the music of John Williams. So nothing will stop me from from John Williams' music. So yeah, let's talk about this Gina Carano stuff.
Oh boy.
And I really don't want to. And in fact, I went through this little phase of denial last night where I was like, we don't have to talk about this. This is
shove it on the side.
This is not important. But it is. I hate talking about politics, particularly in Star Wars, because first of all, it takes me out of it. I don't care about Earth. I don't care about our humanly problems. And when I go to Star Wars, I want to pretend like I'm not here anymore. And then political discussions generally nowadays are a waste of time.
Yeah.
I find that most of the people that I discuss politics with don't come to the table with the same level of factual preparedness that I do. And I know that sounds probably really cocky, but it's just kind of it's a fact. And people are rarely ever willing to consider that they might be wrong about something.
People are very entrenched and committed to their pre-existing positions.
Right. Which I think is I think it's foolish. I think I don't get into an argument with someone and walk into it thinking my mind will never change about this, because you might be given new information about something and that should change your mind. Like, changing your position on something because you've learned something new isn't weak. It's like you are literally intellectually superior by doing that. So with that being said, Gina Carano was fired from The Mandalorian.
Yes. A couple days ago, she tweeted out something to the effect that being a Republican in America today is somewhat akin to being Jewish in Germany during the Holocaust.
During the Holocaust, yeah.
Which, first of all, that's factually false.
Yeah.
Nobody's rounding up Republicans, sending them to death camps, and executing them in job lots. If you think there's anything at all to what she was saying there, you are wrong.
Yeah. That's really what it is. The reason I didn't want to talk about this also is that I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I think it was kind of all of her tweets generally that kind of got her in trouble.
This was not the one thing.
Right.
She's been doing this for months.
Right. That being said, I love Gina Carano in The Mandalorian. I think she's really good. I think her character's really good. I think she's an amazing action actor. And I think she was a credit to the show. And so, I started thinking, if I owned a coffee shop and someone, one of my employees came to work, and I knew that on social media they are posting weird conspiracy stuff. I wouldn't fire them on the spot. I would think they're an idiot, but so it's this complex thing in my mind. And I was pretty on the fence until I saw the picture that she tweeted that she's since deleted. That was a woman being a Jew being literally assaulted in the picture. During that time, saying this is what being a Republican is like. And it's regardless of what side of the political aisle you're on, nothing is happening to most people in the United States that you are not experiencing anything like the Holocaust anywhere. It's fucking stupid. You're not being packed into a gas chamber. Your children are not being murdered in front of you. And saying that is a huge middle finger to the 6 million or so Jews that died in the Holocaust.
Not to mention the other millions of other people that died.
Right. And also, I mean, she said some other pretty gross stuff too. Which, by the way, the other stuff, she said some pretty anti-trans stuff, which. Yes. I know caused a lot of friction between her and Pedro Pascal because his sister was trans. She just came out, but he knew about it for a while, and word was that he stopped talking to her unless they were doing lines or something.
So I was thinking about this on the ride over, and I started with this whole philosophical debate about whether can you separate the artist from their art, and does someone's politics influence their work. And then I realized that this is Disney we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that ultimately this whole decision came down to money.
Oh, yeah.
Disney looked at what was happening. They saw that Gina Carano's tweeting politically inflammatory things. They saw that people were reacting negatively to the politically inflammatory things. And the executives decided that the loss of revenue they would incur from keeping Gina Carano in The Mandalorian was greater than what she would bring in from being part of The Mandalorian. So they cut her loose.
And I think that's something that everyone on either side of this argument can agree with. Disney is a corporation. They don't give a fuck about issues. They don't give a single shit about issues.
The only political thing Disney does is every time copyright law is about to expire and Mickey Mouse is about to go public domain, they lobby a bunch of people to extend copyright by another couple decades.
Which benefits them. That's the only reason they do it.
Yes, that is the only thing they care about politically.
I posted something on Facebook. I commented something. I was talking to someone last night, and I said, if a vast majority of people in America believed that short people had lower IQs, Disney would be firing every single person who thought otherwise. Like, they just go with whatever's popular, whatever's in the zeitgeist, right? Let's also not forget that Disney, as a corporation, way back in the day, was fucking terrible. Walt Disney was a piece of shit. Like, the dude was a terrible human being. So if it's one thing we can all agree on, it's that this is probably like Disney doesn't give a fuck.
No.
Yeah. So expect that from Disney. That's just kind of what they do. There isn't really much to say about this that isn't going to be.
Basically, no matter what we say is going to make somebody angry.
Right, which I'm not so much concerned about that as I am about how exhausted I'm going to be by the end of it.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to talk about Gina Carano anymore. They're not going to hire her back. It's probably not going to happen. What's probably going to happen is that they're going to be like, yeah, Cara Dune's, she's a ranger in the New Republic and she's somewhere else now. Which, by the way, I knew this is coming. I think a while ago, when you're watching season 2 of The Mandalorian and they go back to Navarro, and Mandalorian's like, where's Cara? And they're like, she's not home. And she just like wasn't in the episode, you know? So I think that they kind of this has been a developing issue for a while, and from what I understand, she was given some warnings to
because like we said, this was not the first time she's tweeted.
Right. So it's I think regardless of how you fall in it, it's sad for the story, because she played a good character. That's objectively true. I mean, she was she was good at it, and I'm sad to see that character go, but at the same time, say stupid shit.
Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences.
Yeah, I think that's the other important thing I have to say before we're done with this.
So freedom of speech, all that means is that the government cannot imprison you or otherwise punish you for saying things.
Yeah.
It does not mean private corporations have to keep you on board. It doesn't mean your friends have to put up with you if you say stupid shit. It doesn't mean a social group has to keep including you if you say things that are greatly against what they stand for. All it means is that the government can't punish you for what you say. Right.
And it's okay to, like, if you think that cancel culture is kind of a, an annoying thing that's gone too far, that's fine. It's we could argue about it.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, but it's her freedom of speech was not limited. We all do not have constitutional rights to be in Star Wars properties. If so, I would fucking be in one. I guarantee you. So it's you don't have that right as a citizen to be in a movie. You don't have a right as a citizen to work for Disney. So she's still able to talk. She could call up Fox News right now and get 1 million fucking viewers just at the drop of a hat.
She could probably be a talking head on Fox at this point.
Yes. In fact, it would not surprise me. So moving on from Gina Carano,
right.
Gina, I'm sorry that,
we're moving on.
Yeah, sorry about all this shit, but there we go. So some cooler some cooler news.
Okay.
I think I just had a stroke there. So there was this like weird thing going around a while ago where during an event, Kathleen Kennedy said, oh, by the way, there is going to be a rematch between Obi-Wan and Vader. And everyone's like, excuse me? And she's talking about the upcoming Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus, which I don't know when the fuck we're ever going to get it. Hopefully we do.
Someday. I mean, they officially announced it. There's art and everything.
Yeah. So this has come up again from Kathleen Kennedy on the Disney Investor Day phone conference, where she said the rematch between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader will set a Star Wars record.
You can't see it, but I just rolled my eyes really obviously.
Yeah,
there.
which, by the way, that would be surprising. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but at the time, I'm not sure if it's been surpassed by now. But in 2005, when Episode 3 came out, the sword fight at the end of the movie between the different people was the longest sword fight in cinema history.
Huh.
So that was a record on its own. So I don't know if that's what she means. Like it's going to be a longer sword fight.
I don't know. Are they going to have an entire 45-minute episode that's just a lightsaber duel?
That would be real fucking cool. If it was done well, I'm not necessarily against that.
Yeah.
This kind of causes some trouble with the what we all kind of have in our head canon about the story. So like everyone, I think everyone was safe to assume that Obi-Wan drops Luke off at Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. He's like, there you go. Here's a baby. No one warned you about this. You might be very ill prepared to take care of a child, but here you go.
The only family he's got, so good luck.
Why am I not taking him? Oh no, sorry, I'm a Jedi. I have shit to do.
Then Obi-Wan fucks off to a hut in the desert and jerks off for 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, I was about to say he watches Luke for 20 years, and then those things together would be really weird.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the understanding was that he spends all of that time guarding over Luke, and there are even some moments in Rebels where Obi-Wan makes a couple of appearances, one in holographic form, but he's very glued to Tatooine. He will not leave.
Darth Maul for real,
right? But on Tatooine, right? So we know that Vader can't come back to Tatooine. Otherwise,
makes no sense.
He would know where Luke was.
Yeah.
So at some point, if this is to believe, which I don't know why Kathleen Kennedy would ever lie about this, he leaves Tatooine and runs into Vader somewhere, probably at a bar or like shopping for clothes. And
yes, because Darth Vader, in between his spates of killing rebels, stops by a bar to get
sits at the bar. Yeah. Have you ever seen that Eddie Izzard skit about Vader at the canteen on the Death Star?
I don't think so.
I'll show it to you at some point. It's fucking hysterical. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I think the intention, like this is everything she says is pre-planned. Everything that anyone in Disney says is carefully vetted, and if you say the wrong thing, they'll call you and kill you, like through the phone or something.
Yeah.
So they knew that she was going to say this. They chose the words very carefully. So I think they're trying to get us excited to see an Obi-Wan v Darth Vader fight, which I'm here for. And in fact, it would be kind of cool if they would retcon a little bit and explain why the lightsaber fight in Episode 4 is so fucking shitty. Like Vader's like, well, next time I see you, I'm gonna, I don't know, be really bad at this, or what, and so will you.
I don't know. I have kind of mixed feelings about this because, like, in my head, it made perfect sense that before the Death Star, the last time Obi-Wan and Vader saw each other was Mustafar. Obi-Wan picks up the lightsaber and walks off, and Vader just sees him and is burning and is so angry. And then he has 20 years to stew in that. Yeah. So that when they meet again, it's this big confrontation. And I don't know how you can have a rematch between them between those two events that keeps that emotional tension and makes the duel on the Death Star mean the same thing that it did.
It also kind of it creates a problematic thing with one of the lines from Episode 4, which was,
I've not felt since.
Well, no, that could actually be open ended enough to be like, it's a presence I've not felt since that bar that one time.
Yeah.
When I left you, I was but the learner, but now now I'm the master, which is That doesn't really make sense.
I mean, arguably, it still doesn't make sense in context of Episode 3 and the Clone Wars, where Anakin
was a Jedi Knight.
Yeah, enough of a Jedi to have a Padawan.
Yeah, a very annoying Padawan that ended up being real fucking cool.
She gets better.
Yeah.
But
what do we got next?
Well, you might have recalled that a little while ago there was that big announcement about Ubisoft and how they were making this open world Star Wars.
Yeah, everyone was super happy that it's not.
Yes, EA is not making all the Star Wars games anymore. Shit, Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game.
Man, it's Ubisoft.
So
fuck Ubisoft, really though.
Ubisoft makes a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Among them, they're making something called the Avatar Project, which is tied in with James Cameron's Avatar movie and series of movies. Yeah.
I thought that was a Division property.
I don't think so.
I thought the Avatar project had something to do with the Division.
Not according to what I was reading.
I don't not believe you. Like I'm literally just like.
So there was an earnings call where Ubisoft executives were talking about how great they were doing and what their plans are. Apparently the Star Wars game is in early development. So, that's hopeful.
Which means it'll be canceled, but yeah.
But they're currently focusing on this Avatar project, which is, again, tied in with James Cameron's Avatar. Apparently, the second Avatar movie is scheduled to come out in like December of 2022.
Yeah, it's been announced for like the past 50 years, I think. Yeah.
Like it feels like has it been a decade since the first Avatar movie?
Yeah, and they keep shuffling back the release date.
Yeah, because like I remember seeing that movie in theaters back when I was in high school, which would put it like a long time ago.
Yep. Because I was a freshman in college when I saw it. So yeah, it must have been.
Anyway, so the implication is that this Avatar game is going to tie in with the new Avatar movie, which would be 2022, and that Ubisoft wouldn't want to devote full resources to their Star Wars game until the Avatar game is out the door, which means that we would probably not see the Ubisoft Star Wars game till like 2023, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard to get excited about stuff like this because not only are release announcements usually way far away, but now we live in a climate where everything that was ever announced is being delayed for 20 years because of COVID-19. So also the added thing on top, which is Disney loves to announce things and then immediately cancel them. So I'm not really sure.
Or announce them and then change everything about them. Remember Colin Trevorrow?
Oh yeah. One of these days I would
remember the guys who were directing the Solo movie.
Oh yeah, Lord Miller. Yeah,
and the guy who was directing Rogue One for
Gareth Edwards. Yeah, those poor guys. Oh, plus also they fired Andrew Desplat from the Rogue One the project, and then Michael Giacchino had to write the film score in one or 2 weeks. So yeah, they're not
they're not a marvel of consistency and sticking to their word here.
They also knee jerk about the weirdest things.
Yeah,
it's like it's like somewhere like in a boardroom at Disney. They were like, Lord Miller they're like doing improv comedy on Solo, and they're like, oh my God, fire him. Fire him and find someone else. And they're like, well, they're really good at improv. I don't care. Get rid of them. Which I would have loved to see Lord Miller's cut of Solo: A Star Wars Story.
It would probably have been a very different movie, but probably still pretty entertaining.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, there have been rumors flying around. Do you remember? Like a few months ago, they were like, "Oh, there's going to be this Disney Plus Star Wars thing, and there's going to be this Disney Plus Star Wars thing," and we're like, "That's a lot of fucking Disney Plus."
And then they finally had their event and revealed like a dozen Star Wars Disney Plus things.
So now, like the rumor mill's starting to spin about all these video game things, and because
again, EA lost the exclusive license,
right? So like it's open season. Yeah. So I'm reading about a rumor that in addition to all the stuff we're talking about. There is a Star Wars shooter that's in development, and
I remember reading about this. It was like an EA kind of a smaller scale project, something along the lines of Squadrons.
Yeah, which is that's interesting. It would make sense. It depends on who they get to develop it.
Yeah.
because like EA does, or Dice, they've got the whole battle. I think that's why they chose them for Battlefront 3, or not Battlefront 3, Battlefront and Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
It's because they had the Battlefield things. And
Yeah, we should mention that this game is explicitly not Battlefront 3.
Yeah, right. Which there are rumors about Battlefront 3 like flying around too.
Yeah, because of course there are.
And those are actually kind of stupid because it's just some idiot on Reddit. Which, don't get me wrong, when someone on Reddit claims to have information, now I have like PST about PTSD about it. Some of it just like he's like, oh yeah, the original hero designer for Battlefront 2 is coming back for the Battlefront 3. It's like he quit his job and went to a different developer. He's not coming back to DICE. Like that shit's not going to happen. So, but yeah, the shooter is, just another rumor that's coming around. It is apparently aside from Battlefront 3. And so the question is, what part of the Star Wars universe would your shooter be?
Yeah.
It can't be, I mean, it's probably not about Jedi. Maybe it's like a Clone Wars thing, or maybe it could be like, Mandalorian thing, or I don't like shooters too much. If I'm being entirely honest, I think the only shooter I ever really took seriously was GoldenEye 007 on N64.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never really been into the Call of Duty games. In fact, and I say this now and I'll say it until I die, if Battlefront 2 wasn't Star Wars, I wouldn't fucking play it. Yeah. Like I just for a variety of reasons, one of them being I just don't really care about shooters that much. Which, by the way, if you like shooters, good on you. Like,
fantastic.
Whatever. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that they don't really capture my interest.
Yeah.
So,
like we have so few details about this, it's hard to get excited.
And it's probably, who knows? It's probably all lie anyway.
A year or two out at the very least
from even being announced. I bet. Yeah. What do you got?
So Kevin Feige. Is that really how
Feige?
It says
Yeah.
Feige. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Also, isn't there a disease in Star Trek called the phage?
Probably.
I don't know this because I have too much self-respect to be a Star Trek fan. But my partner John,
I was gonna say, but not enough to be married to one.
Right. I should text him because he'd be like, well, actually, yeah. And according to Memory Alpha, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, shut the fuck up.
So anyway,
nerd.
Kevin Feige, the executive producer behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
the guy with the creepiest smile in the world.
Oh God.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that man smile?
I have not, and now I don't want to.
It's so fucking weird. I'll show it to you at some point.
Anyway.
When I put this when I put this on YouTube, I'll put it in like a video of him just like it's his eyes. It's like there's no soul there. It's don't get me wrong. Kevin Feige is a fucking genius.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's really good at what he does. He is probably he's probably the single reason that the MCU is the colossal success that it is. Yeah. The dude is real fucking creepy looking. I'm just saying.
Okay, so Kevin Feige is
real fucking creepy looking.
Yes.
Good.
He's giving an interview with Yahoo to promote WandaVision, the new.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Series. Yeah. Apparently, someone asked him if there was ever going to be a Star Wars MCU crossover, and Feige said, "Not just no, but fuck no."
Yeah, not just no, but fuck you and your mother.
Like, this shouldn't even really be a story because it's such a ludicrous concept. Yeah. I feel like
it would be really weird. However,
Luke Skywalker comes from the world between worlds and cuts Thanos in half.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which he could totally take.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the one thing that got me thinking about this, by the way, we shared a picture on our page a while ago, or a few days ago, of Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange and Vader doing like the punch him out of his body.
Right.
Thing.
Yeah. Which is a cool idea, but at the same time, why?
Yeah.
Well, like, why would we need that? In fact, like, they've got so many fucking comic book characters from Marvel Comics that they haven't even introduced or explored yet. Mm-hmm. Why would they do this with Star Wars? And it's like this immediate immersion breaking thing.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, well, now they're just two properties that we know are in worlds that don't exist in the first place, and fuck that.
Yeah. I've always... So this kind of messes with the issue of, like, if you get too big a sandbox, it doesn't feel as... Like it's harder to tightly control your stories if you can just throw anything into them.
Yeah, and then you have this weird cyclical escalation where like everything has to be more powerful than the last, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you've got everyone's like Captain Marvel.
Which is why we haven't seen Captain Marvel
Yeah.
since Endgame, because like what enemy poses a threat to her?
Right.
Like what can she not resolve by just punching or like flying
Yeah.
through it?
Yep.
Remember when
Headbutting.
Captain Marvel flew through a spaceship?
Yeah, that was that's like her signature move. Like she did that in the standalone film, and I like it. Like she just shows up in Endgame. It's like, I'm gonna headbutt that fucking ship.
I'm just gonna fly through
Yeah.
it. Oh look, there's another ship. I'm gonna fly through that one.
Which, by the way, since we're talking about it, that look on Thanos' face when she does it, he's like,
It's like, what the fuck?
"Oh
You can
God,
do that?
who the fuck is that?" I'm gonna punch her with a power stone later. I like that ship. So yeah, sorry guys, sorry fanboys, not gonna happen. Crossover's not gonna happen. Kevin Feige says so. He's the boss.
But you still have that Patton Oswalt skit on Parks and Rec. To
Yeah, I
keep you
know.
warm at night.
Yep. I posted that as a reply to someone today on Facebook because they were talking about how the book of Boba Fett needs to have an explanation on how he gets out of the Sarlacc pit.
Does it?
And I was like, we already have one, fucking Patton Oswalt. Because he starts out that whole thing with, like, zoom in on the Sarlacc pit. Out comes the glove of the feared Mandalorian Boba Fett. And it's just, you know, he ad-libbed that entire thing.
Really?
Yeah. Patton Oswalt's a fucking genius.
Yeah, hats off
I
to him.
love him. Do we have any other news?
I don't know.
Any other important news?
Let me examine our rundown real quick.
I think we talked about all of it. We even talked about Gina Carano.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
So now we get to move on to our world famous segments, our other world famous segments, Star Wars Storytime.
Yeah.
And so if you're new to the game here, I read a lot of Star Wars comics and books and things, and Chris generally does not. And I'm not saying you're a fake fan and that I hate you for it, but
I'm a busy dude. I got other stuff to do.
and I am not. I am not a busy dude. Also, I really like Star Wars comics. So this is how this goes. I read a comic and then I retell it the best way I remember it, and it's usually pretty fun. Before we get into this, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably seeing some images from our buddy over at Star Wars Comics Story.
Yes, he's on YouTube. Go
He's a
follow
hero.
him. He's
a hero.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I have no idea how he hasn't gotten shut down. I know I say that every time, but holy shit.
Yeah, and he has like the new comics up like the day they're released too. So
the man is doing the Lord's work.
yes, he is. So if you see some images from comic books, I didn't actually go and do the work on that. He did, and very graciously allowed us to take his stuff. So last week we read Darth Vader #6 Into the Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our previously on segment. So previously on Darth Vader #6, Vader goes on a rampage to find out who hid his son from him.
Like you do.
He spares a team of rebels because of the power of boners, because their leader looks like Padme, and he's like, "Hey, you're kind of hot."
I don't even have a boner anymore, but you gave me a boner.
Very burnt, shriveled boner. And so he not only like he just doesn't kill him and just like he's like, okay, I'm gonna leave now.
And the Emperor's
Goodbye.
like, hey,
yeah,
what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. He hides this entire thing from Palpatine. Palpatine gets real fucking pissed about it. He decides that Vader has to be tortured so that he can like trust him again. It's some weird.
You gotta
thing.
learn a lesson.
Yeah. So he rips off all of his limbs except for one. Leaves him on Mustafar, right?
Presumably the real limb, right? Because like you can't rip off the robot limb, or like
I think it.
because Vader loses both his legs and one arm on Mustafar.
I think so.
He still has one flesh and blood arm.
Yeah, I
you
can't
can't really
remember.
rip that off.
Yeah, it's probably his like jerking arm, but anyway, and leaves him on a lava beach on Mustafar where Obi-Wan whooped his ass, and was like, "Oh, if you use the Force to get out of this little predicament you found so that I put you in, I'll fucking kill you." Oh, and I've sent Ochi of Bastoon after you. And if you're thinking, who the fuck is Ochi of Bastoon? He's that like potato-looking motherfucker in Rise of Skywalker who kills Rey's parents.
Oh, nice.
He also kind of looks like Maz Kanata in a really weird way. Anyway, that's Ochi of Bastoon, who is assassin of the Sith.
Okay.
And he's a part of the Sith Eternal, which kind of proves in the comics that the Sith Eternal,
Are eternal?
yeah, and the Palpatine was like thinking about all like this stuff beforehand. So we open the the story, and it's right after Operation Nightfall, where Anakin goes to the Jedi Temple and does this thing and
kills the younglings.
yeah, and he's kneeling before Palpatine, and Palpatine's like, so you kill everyone, like even the kids. I want to make sure we're clear about this. Like you killed the kids.
Yes, I very explicitly killed the kids.
Anakin's like, oh my god, yes, even the kids, Jesus. And Palpatine's like, oh great, so you can be Vader. Your name is Vader now. Go forth, bring peace to the galaxy. And Anakin's like,
and by peace I mean go to Mustafar and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, well he did that. Yeah, I think you're right. And so Palpatine's like, well, yeah, peace, quotes, air quotes, peace.
Peace by killing all of our enemies.
Yeah. So Vader is remembering all this shit while he is on Mustafar. He has one arm.
Slowly dragging himself up the beach.
He's sitting on a lava beach, and he was just on fire. Life for him is not, as you would say, going well. And he's able to crawl up to the old Separatist base where he killed all the Separatist leaders, and he has that fight with Obi-Wan. And like from the shadows, Ochi of Bastoon is watching, and he's like, oh, look at him go.
I feel like we're legally obligated to say his name, like, Ochi of Bastoon!
I think the reason I say it like that is because whenever they say it in the comics, it's all in caps.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, ah!
Bold face and...
Yeah.
Ochi of Bastoon!
Yeah, so, like, he's watching from afar, like, Vader drag his fucking body up this lava thing, and he's like, aw, look at him.
He's working so hard.
Look at him go. So Vader gets into the room where he kills all the Separatists, and he like
this brings back memories.
Yeah. In fact, it cues some flashbacks of him killing him, and then he starts seeing like the ghosts of the younglings that he killed. He's like, oh shit, no, I don't want this.
Fuck,
no,
go away.
That was bad.
I killed you before I came here.
Yeah, Newt Gunray's body is still laying there rotting.
Oh, geez.
And Vader's like, Jesus, fuck! You'd think they'd clean this shit up, Jesus.
I guess, being on a hot fire planet has good preservative properties. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So there's still a mouse droid like zipping around. And
like, come on, mouse droid. You're telling me you're not going to clean up the corpses?
Yes. So Vader grabs the mouse droid. The mouse droid's like, the fuck, get off me. And it was somehow, I don't know if he like sticks it between his knees and like uses his one arm, but he rewires it. And and then the mouse droid's like, oh yeah, we're friends. Yay. And so he starts bringing Vader parts, and one of them's like a battle droid leg, and one of them's like one of those big fucking arms from a super battle droid. And he starts like he's welding him, and then like Vader's got a screwdriver, and he's like this is my new arm. This is a fucking sweet arm.
Gets a ratchet out.
Yeah. So they're like friends, and if you've been following the Vader comics, this is like a common trope. Like he gets along better with droids than he does with anyone else, because he Anakin was a tinkerer. He liked droids a whole bunch. And so like Ochi appears, and he's like, oh look, you got yourself a mouse droid.
And also some new limbs.
Yeah, I know I'm late.
Old limbs.
Yeah, I know I'm a little late, but and don't be mad. I'm not patronizing you, but I didn't want this to end too quickly. Because you don't have any fucking limbs, but prepared to get fucked. And so like Vader's like rolling his eyes, and so Ochi like busts into the room where Vader is, and he's like, I gotcha, and he's not there. And so Ochi of Bastoon is like, really, bro, you're gonna hide? Like, you're a fucking Sith.
Come on, man.
Like, where are you gonna hide from? And so the mouse droid is like still buzzing around. He's like, hey, fuck you, that's my new friend. Don't talk to my new friend like that. And out of nowhere, Vader just fucking springs from his hiding spot with his new fucking super battle droid arm and his lightsaber. And as he's like sailing down to hit this guy, he's like, oh, thanks, little mouse droid. Bros for life. And Ochi's like, oh, fuck. And they start fighting. Ochi's got this weird like lance thing. Okay. And he's like stabbing him like in the control box. He's like, this looks important. It would really suck if this stopped working. And Vader's like, stop being a douche. This is not very fun. And he's like, well, thank you for making this interesting, but now you must die. And he's like, really?
At the hands of me, Ochi of Bastoon!
Yeah. And so Vader's like, oh, okay, I'm really out of this. And Vader takes a swing at him with his lightsaber, who backflips. And by the time he lands, Vader has like pulled a full Batman disappearing move. And Ochi's like, I think I've seen this before.
Really,
in a comic
man? You're
book.
gonna hide again?
Yeah.
Come on.
And so he's like walking around trying to find him, whilst monologuing. It's like, all right, you're still Vader, right? And like from somewhere you hear his voice is like, yes. Also, who the fuck are you? And Ochi's like, I'm Ochi of Bastoon. I'm the assassin of the Sith. And my face is the last face you will ever see.
Vader's like, I doubt that.
Yeah, well, Vader's like, you're an assassin of the Sith, but you're not a fucking Sith. Those are two different things. And Ochi's like, okay, look, you're clearly trying to bait me so we can you can surprise me and whatever. And Vader just out of nowhere is like, you're nothing to him. Like, he'll just use you and fucking lose you, bro. And like, he's obviously talking about Palpatine because that's like his MO, right?
I mean, look what he's doing to me. He sent you after me.
Yes. Well, that's what Ochi said. He's like he did to you. Good job letting those handmaidens live, by the way. You're not gonna break me like this. And Vader's like, fucking watch me. And he just like bursts through a fucking wall. And he's got his lightsaber and he grabs Ochi by the throat. And Ochi's like, oh fuck, please let me go. And Vader's like,
no.
Are you sure you want me to do that? And they're standing in this pool of lava. And Vader's fine because he's got fucking robot legs. And Ochi does not have robot legs, by the way.
Ochi probably doesn't have a robot anything.
Right. It's like that. It's like that part in
the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight.
Very poor choice.
Yeah, very poor choice of words. So Vader's like, okay, now tell me everything. What are the Emperor's plans? I want to know everything. And Ochi's like, seriously, I'm just doing a job here.
Like, he didn't tell me anything. He just said, go to this place.
Yeah.
There's this big angry cyborg. Just hunt him down and kill him.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know anything. And Vader's like, you're a fucking liar, and like throws him on the lava beach. And Ochi scrambles.
Ochi of Bastoon!
Yeah, Ochi of Bastoon like scrambles to safety. Yeah. And Ochi's like, you can't beat him. His powers are like crazy fucking good. And
His
Vader's
power level is over 9,000.
Yeah. Vader's like, I've seen his powers, they ain't shit. Like, that's not that big of a deal. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's power that only the Emperor could build. And Vader's like, what the fuck do you mean by build?
Yeah, that's a strange choice of words.
And Ochi's like, I've said too much. Vader's like, yeah, no shit. So Vader's about to beat it out of Ochi. And
beat it.
Exactly. And then and I swear to God, this happens. And in my notes, it says, a giant spider thing yells from a cave. And this creature is like, who is out here screaming and making all this fucking noise?
Don't you? I'm trying to take a nap, for fuck's sake.
Right. And Vader and Ochi are like, what the fuck is that?
I always get drowsy in the afternoons. It's, my shows are over. I just want to lie down and have a nap before dinner.
Yeah, which, by the way, they can't see it. It's just a voice coming from a cave.
Yeah.
Like, we can see it because it's in the comic. But, like, they're both like, who the fuck is that? And he's like, who's out here making all this noise? And Vader's like, what is that?
He did it.
Yeah. So the Vader's like, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go probably kill this thing.
Yeah.
And he like goes to run off, and Ochi's like, wait for me.
Wait, I'm supposed to kill you.
Yeah. And they get close to the cave, and Ochi's like, wait a second. You woke something up. You used the Force to wake it up. That's fucking cheating. I'm telling Palpatine. And Vader's like, don't be a dumbass. I didn't call it. It's calling me. And Ochi's like, well, no, that's not fair. And he shoots the rocks at the mouth of this cave to try to collapse it. Vader tries to throw his lightsaber at Ochi because I think he's like, I'm done with you.
I'm
he's like,
so fucking upset.
Yeah. And Ochi like catches it, and Vader's like, oh fuck. And then
how can you do that?
Yeah,
you're not a Sith.
Right. I think it's because he wasn't using the Force, because he's not allowed to use the Force. Right. But he throws it at him, he catches it, and Ochi's like, aha! And now you will
I have
die.
the high ground.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And he's like, do not start that high ground bullshit right now. So Vader's like, oh, fuck, he's got my lightsaber. And he notices that the mouth of the cave starts to collapse. He's like, fuck it, I'm going for it. And just like runs into the cave before it collapses. Whee! Yeah. And Ochi's like, you don't want to take your, you know what, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah. So the cave collapses. Ochi's like, well,
I mean, he's probably dead.
Probably
he's
dead.
Stuck in there with whatever that fucking disembodied voice
yeah,
was.
I'm sure Palpatine will be perfectly satisfied with that.
Yep.
So Vader follows the voice.
There's no way Palpatine's going to want to see the body.
Right, yeah. Vader follows the voice into the lava cave, and he finds a weird spider thing sitting on the top of a giant humanoid head.
Okay.
And Vader to himself is like, of course it's a fucking spider on top of a head. And the spider thing is like, wow, you look like shit, bro. Because he's got like 2 robot legs and like,
So yes, this is what happens when 3 of your limbs get ripped off. And you have to like jury rig repairs.
Right. And Vader's like, yeah, it's been a real weird fucking day.
It's been a day.
Yeah, it's not been a great day. And the spider's like, well, that sucks. It's probably going to get worse because I have like riddles and shit, and you probably can't solve them. And Vader's like, whatever, who the fuck are you? And he's
Come
like,
on.
oh, I am the Eye of Webbish Bog.
Oh God.
And Vader's like, the Eye of what?
You know what? Fucking just give me the first riddle.
Let's just get this going.
Yeah.
And that's how the comic ends. Now, this is a huge revelation if you've read the Rise of Skywalker novelization. Because so in the movie, at the beginning of the film, Kylo goes to Mustafar and kills a bunch of people. It gets to the Wayfinder.
Yes.
Now, in the novelization, before he can get to the Wayfinder, he runs into the Eye of Webbish Bog.
Oh.
Which no one's really quite sure what it is. It's literally like a spider-looking thing sitting on top of somebody's head. And it likes to tell riddles and shit. And now that I'm thinking about it, I cannot, for the life of me, remember what like Kylo might have just fucking killed it.
That's a very Kylo thing to do.
Yeah. Or he might have answered a riddle or something. I can't remember.
I'm leaning more on he just killed it.
Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is that
my grandfather was too weak to kill you, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Slice.
he's probably like, hey, I ran into Vader like 30 years. How is he doing?
I am not Vader.
Yeah. How's he doing? Is he
He's dead.
Yeah. I'm sensitive about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I like to stroke his helmet.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, you want to see his helmet? So yeah, that's the end of the comic. So this whole like Marvel run for Vader has been really cool. Because first of all, it just shows how much of an absolute fucking cock Palpatine is. And how the seeds of Vader's descent from Palpatine and his like control over him actually started pretty early in his career.
Because Palpatine's a dick.
Right. So it's been something that was kind of brewing for a while, and the whole Luke thing really kind of just broke it. So
is this Vader series written by Charles Soule?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I'm pretty sure. If not, I'm very sorry. I didn't happen to write that down in my notes. It probably is. It's a great story. Charles Soule writes great stories. So, all right. Now we're gonna go to our extremely popular segment called "That's Not How the Force Works."
That's a lie. It might be a lie. I don't know how popular it actually is.
We'll never know. So this is where we talk about shit that we're watching that isn't necessarily Star Wars. It can be Star Wars, but it isn't necessarily Star Wars. It's pretty much our chance to nerd out about shit that isn't Star Wars, because we don't just like Star Wars, we like other stuff too. So I've been watching recently, on the recommendation of one of our viewers, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which is very difficult for me to say.
Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Yeah, see? Now say that like 700 times fast.
Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Yeah.
It's the hand of holistic.
Right, yeah. It's also the words Holistic Detective Agency, those words do not go together.
There's a lot of sounds and very quick.
Well, also the idea of a holistic detective is really weird. So it's based off of it's supposed to be based off of works by Douglas Adams, who wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
And then it's multiple sequels.
Yeah. It turns out it has nothing to do with the stuff that he actually wrote. It's like lightly based on the characters.
Okay.
But it stars the dude that was Frodo.
Oh yeah, Elijah Wood.
Yeah, and then some other folks, and it really is kind of great. I haven't read any of the Douglas Adams stuff that it's supposed to be after, so I'm not offended by it. And that's been really funny. I started the second season today, and so I'll probably talk about it more next week. The whole thing is this. It's very Douglas Adams. Everything is just absurd and over the top and kind of weird. And this guy is a holistic detective, which means that in the story, which means he doesn't go looking for clues. The clues find him. So he just goes about.
He just goes about his
the
day
world
and
is an idiot.
There's a
Yeah,
fucking handprint in the mud. That must mean there was a murder here.
Right, and so he accidentally solves stuff. And then he.
It's a very Douglas Adams premise.
Yeah. He like runs into Elijah Wood and he's like, "You're my assistant now," and he's like, "We just fucking met. What are you talking about?"
What?
And it's a really touching tale of there's so much fucked up stuff going on in the story, and their friendship develops, and then they introduce time travel.
Oh, good.
Which is also a big Douglas Adams thing, and it gets very complex and very strange, and I really love it. I also I read this last week Star Wars Into the Dark, which is the second novel in the High Republic thing. The first one was Into the Light. This one's Into the Dark. The nothing super notable about it other than they kind of introduced the Jedi class that does whatever they want.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time.
And also probably do you remember the Rise of Kylo Ren comics?
Yes.
Do you remember when he goes to after he is like, I don't want to be a Jedi anymore, and he goes to visit Snoke.
Snoke in Snoke's weird garden thing.
Yeah, who's like wearing a weird hat.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I found this fedora. Do you like it?
It's my gardening
Yeah.
hat.
It turns out that is a space station, and that's where a lot of the story happens is on that space station. And it turns out it's like a dark side nexus.
Must be a pretty fucking old space station by the time Snoke gets there.
Yes. And then also, of course, both of us are watching WandaVision.
Oh my god.
New episode comes out tomorrow.
I have never encountered a show where the first 2 episodes were so terrible, and like after that it just gets so much better.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if this had been pitched to me as the Monica Rambeau show, I would have liked it a lot more.
Yeah. I like Monica Rambeau in that show a lot. She was spoilers for WandaVision, by the way.
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau was
The little daughter
girl.
of Maria Rambeau in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel, which was one of my favorite MCU movies so far, and she's probably one of my favorite MCU characters. And there are a couple of throwaway lines about Captain Marvel, which got me really excited too. And they also in one of the episodes show the blip from her point of view, which is really cool.
It kind of made me laugh the way all the dust suddenly comes together and now there's a person.
Yeah. Well, also her expression.
Yeah.
She's like,
what?
Yeah.
What just happened?
Yeah. And like in that time, like her mom died of cancer and
Yeah.
shit. And by the way, Monica Rambeau has almost certainly got superpowers at this point, which is kind of neat. And it's just, I think it's kind of a cool time. The thing that's most apparent to me about this show is that they wasted Wanda Maximoff's character in all the other MCU movies because her actor is brilliant.
Yeah, she does.
She's so good. And Paul Bettany is so good as Vision, too.
All of the main cast, WandaVision and all the people in the town are extremely good actors.
Yeah.
Like they're pulling off like idioms and I don't know what to call it, techniques and genres and like an entire cliche for the 50s era, and then you fast forward 2 episodes and they're in the 70s and everyone is still doing like era appropriate mannerisms and it works. It's the same actors.
Yeah, it's good. Which isn't that much of a surprise when you think about they've been hitting home runs in the MCU for a while now.
Disney has enough money to get really good actors, so that's what they're doing.
Right, and good writers and Kevin Feige apparently who has the creepiest smile in the world.
Well, he's the one who's getting all these incredibly talented people.
True. We're gonna call that a night here. Ordinarily we'd read fan mail. We're getting real close on time here.
We've been yakking too much.
Right. So make sure you join us right after this for our Battlefront stream on the Jedi Enclave page. We'll be playing. Chris will be playing as well. It'll be funny.
It'll be very funny because I'm very bad at that game.
So we'll see you here in a little bit. We love you guys. We appreciate the support. And we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.